The moment I stepped off the bus in Cambodia, my dreams of a better life shattered. I was 24, a fresh graduate from Hyderabad, clutching a fake job offer that promised a tech job in Phnom Penh. Instead, I was herded into a concrete compound ringed with barbed wire, my passport snatched, my phone confiscated. By nightfall, I was forced to send AI-crafted love letters to elderly Americans, tricking them into fake crypto scams. My name is Arjun Reddy, and I became a prisoner in a pig-butchering fraud factory, scamming strangers to save my own skin, while my family back home sank into debt and despair. Hyderabad was my world, a noisy sprawl of markets and motorbikes where I grew up in a cramped flat with my parents and younger sister. Priya, my father, a retired clerk, leaned on his pension, and my mother stitched clothes to keep us afloat. I was their hope, a computer science degree from a local college, a chance to lift us out of struggle. Jobs were scarce, though, and my applications went unanswered. Then came the email, a data analyst role in Cambodia. 1 to 500 a month, travel covered. It was a lifeline. I showed it to my parents, their eyes bright with pride. Go, Arjun, my father said. Make us proud. I borrowed 50,000 rupees for the visa and flight, promising to repay it with my first paycheck. The email came from Global Tech Solutions, polished and professional, with a logo and a LinkedIn page that looked legit. I Skyped with a recruiter, a smiling woman named May, who spoke of growth and opportunity. My gut flickered, why Cambodia? But the contract was detailed, the pay irresistible. I flew out in March 2005, my mother's prayers ringing in my ears. The Phnom Penh airport was chaotic, humid air hitting me as I scanned for the promised driver. A man in a black cap held a sign, Arjun Reddy. I followed him to a van, my suitcase bouncing in the back. He didn't speak, and the city faded into jungle as we drove for hours. My phone lost signal. Where are we going? I asked. He ignored me. The van stopped at a gated compound, floodlights glaring. Men with tattoos and hard eyes waved us through. My heart sank. This wasn't an office. Inside, I was shoved into a room with a dozen others Indians, Filipinos, a few Chinese, all young, all scared. A man in a leather jacket, flanked by guards, barked orders. You're here to work, he said. His English clipped. No questions, no leaving. My passport was taken, my bag searched. They handed me a burner phone and a script romantic messages, AI generated, to charm American retirees into crypto investments. Pig butchering. They called it fattening victims with trust before slaughtering their savings. I wanted to run, but the guards' guns were real. That night, in a dorm reeking of sweat, I lay on a thin mattress. My roommate, a Filipino named Carlo, whispering his story. He'd come for a call center job, only to be trapped here, scamming to avoid beatings. Do what they say, he warned, or they'll hurt you. My first task came at dawn. Send a message to Dorothy, a 68-year-old widow in Ohio. The AI script was sickeningly sweet. Hi, Dorothy. I'm James, a widower who loves jazz. Fate brought us together. I typed, my hands shaking, knowing each word was a lie to steal her savings. Back home, my family thought I was thriving. I'd sent a cheerful text before my phone was taken, promising to call soon. They didn't know I was a cog in a machine, run by a syndicate called DragonNet, targeting vulnerable Americans with romance scams. The compound hummed with keyboards, hundreds of us churning out lies under fluorescent lights. My supervisor, a wiry man named Lim, watched me like a hawk. Hit your quota, or you're done. He growled. I learned fast done meant a basement cell, or worse. I was trapped. My dreams of helping my family twisted into a nightmare of deceit. As I sent Dorothy another message, her reply popped up, James, you're so kind. Tell me more about you. My stomach churned. She trusted me, or the fake me. I wanted to warn her, to scream that I was a prisoner, but Lim's shadow loomed. My family's debt, Priya's school fees, my parents' hopes they weighed heavier than my guilt. I kept typing, each word a betrayal, praying for a way out. If this story's gripping you, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Ever been lured by a too-good-to-be-true offer? I read every one. The compound's fluorescent lights burned my eyes, a relentless glare that matched the weight of my guilt. Each morning, I woke to the same routine, a guard banging on the dorm door, stale rice for breakfast, and hours at a chipped desk, typing lies to Dorothy and others. My burner phone buzzed with AI-generated scripts, each one a dagger. Dorothy, you're my light in the darkness. Have you thought about investing in crypto? Her replies were warm, trusting, each word tightening the knot in my chest. I was Arjun Reddy, Hyderabad's proud graduate, reduced to a scammer in a Cambodian hell, stealing from strangers to save myself. The compound was a machine, and I was a cog. DragonNet ran it like a factory, with Lim and his guards enforcing quotas. We worked in shifts, hundreds of us, mostly young, mostly tricked by fake job ads like mine. My neighbor, Priya, from Chennai, whispered her story one night she'd come for a marketing job, only to be locked here, scamming Canadians. I tried to refuse, she said, showing a bruise on her arm. Don't test them. I nodded, my jaw tight. The guards' batons were never far, and the basement cell, a dank pit for troublemakers, loomed in every threat. Dorothy was my main target, a 68-year-old widow in Ohio who loved gardening and jazz. The AI scripts knew her weaknesses. Pulling data from her social media, widowed 2 years, lonely, savings in a retirement fund. My job was to build trust, then push her to a fake crypto platform. It's safe, Dorothy. I invested too. I typed, hating myself. She sent photos of her roses, her smile soft and grandmotherly. I wanted to warn her, but Lim's eyes were always on me, his voice sharp. You're at 80% quota. Arjun, don't slack. Failure meant pain. Or worse, rumors of examples made in the jungle. I clung to thoughts of home to stay sane. My sister Priya's laugh, my mother's biryani, my father's quiet pride, they kept me going. But they were slipping away. Before my phone was taken, I texted them. Landed safely, job's great now. They were borrowing more to cover the loan I'd taken, thinking I'd repay it soon. I imagined my mother's worry, my sister skipping school to help. The thought was a blade, sharper than Lim's threats. I was failing them, trapped in a scam that hurt everyone but DragonNet's bosses. One night, I tested the system. While Lim was distracted, I typed a warning to Dorothy, don't trust me. This is a scam. My heart raced as I hit send, praying she'd see it. But the message never left. The burner phone's app blocked it, flagging it to Lim. He stormed over, his face a mask of rage. You think you're clever. He grabbed my arm, twisting until I gasped. Next time, it's the basement. He deleted the message, then forced me to send another. Dorothy, ignore my last text, bad joke. Let's talk crypto tomorrow. She replied, oh, James, you scared me. I trust you. My stomach churned. I was caged, and so was she. Carlo, my roommate, saw my despair. You can't save them, he whispered after lights out. Focus on surviving. He'd been here 6 months, his hope long gone. He showed me a scar on his back. A guard's lesson for missing quota. They own us. Arjun, play their game. But I couldn't. Each message to Dorothy felt like betraying my family's trust, my own values. I studied the compound instead, the guards' patterns, the cameras, the barbed wire. Escape seemed impossible, but I memorized details, clinging to a flicker of defiance. By week 2, Dorothy was ready to invest. James, I'm wiring $10,000 to your crypto site, she wrote. I stared at the screen, my hands frozen. That was her savings, her security. I pictured her in Ohio, smiling at her roses, unaware I was stealing her future. Lim leaned over my shoulder. Close the deal, or you're done. I typed, "That's wonderful. Dorothy, you won't regret it." The words burned, each one a step deeper into the abyss. As her confirmation came through, I felt something break inside me. I wasn't just a victim, I was a thief, and the line between me and DragonNet was blurring. This story's only getting darker. Stick with me to see if I break free. Hit like, subscribe, and comment ever felt trapped by a bad choice. Your stories keep me going. Dorothy's $10,000 was gone, swallowed by DragonNet's crypto scam. And I was the one who pushed her over the edge. Her message, "Thank you." James, this feels like a new start, sat like poison in my gut. I stared at my burner phone, the compound's fluorescent buzz drilling into my skull. Lim clapped my shoulder, his grin all teeth. "Good job. Arjun, keep her hooked for more." I nodded, my face blank. But inside, I was screaming. I wasn't just trapped in this Cambodian fraud factory, I was becoming the monster I hated. And every lie I typed for DragonNet carved away another piece of me. The compound never slept. Day and night, keyboards clacked, guards patrolled, and the air stank of sweat and fear. I worked 14-hour shifts, charming Dorothy and 2 new targets, a retired teacher in Florida and a widower in Texas. The AI scripts were relentless, tailoring each message to their lives' hobbies, losses, dreams scraped from social media. "You're special to me, Margaret," I wrote to the teacher, my fingers heavy. She replied with stories of her grandkids, and I wanted to vanish. But quotas ruled my life, and Lim's threats were a shadow I couldn't shake. My only refuge was the dorm, where whispers with Carlo and Priya kept me sane. Carlo was resigned, his eyes dull, but Priya from Chennai burned with quiet rage. "We can't stay here forever," she said one night, her voice low. "They'll use us until we break." I glanced at the door, fearing guards. How do we get out? The fences, the guns. She leaned closer. "We watch. We learn. They're not as smart as they think." Her words lit a spark. I'd been memorizing the compound's layout, camera blind spots, guard shifts. Escape felt like a fantasy, but it was all I had. I tested the waters cautiously. During a rare bathroom break, I lingered near a side gate, noting its rusty lock. A guard caught me staring and shoved me back to my desk, but I saw enough the gate was less guarded at dawn. I shared this with Priya, who'd noticed a delivery truck that came weekly, its driver bribable. She thought, "We need a plan," she said. And others, Carlo overheard, shaking his head, "You'll get us killed." But I saw a flicker in his eyes, hope. Buried deep, I clung to it. Even as Dorothy's next message arrived, "James, I'm ready to invest $50,000. Is it safe?" My heart sank. She was all in, and I was her executioner. Lim pushed harder, sensing my hesitation. "You're soft. Arjun?" he sneered, tapping his baton. "Close this deal, or you'll meet the boss." The boss, nobody saw him, but his name, Mr. Chen, was a ghost in every threat. I typed to Dorothy, "It's safe, I promise," my hands shaking. Her reply was instant. "I trust you." "James," I wanted to scream, to smash the phone, but I was caged by Lim, by DragonNet, by my family's debt back in Hyderabad. I pictured my sister Priya skipping school to help my mother, my father's tired eyes. They needed me, and I was failing them here. That night, I took a risk. While Lim was on a call, I slipped a note to Priya Gate at dawn. "Truck driver. Plan." She nodded, her eyes fierce. We roped in Carlo, who grumbled but agreed. "If we die, it's on you," he muttered. We mapped it out, distract a guard, slip through the gate, bribe the driver with cash Priya had hidden. It was desperate. But so were we. I lay awake, heart pounding, imagining freedom Hyderabad's chaotic streets, my mother's hug. But doubt gnawed me. What if we were caught? The basement cell was real, and so were the guards' fists. Morning brought a blow. Dorothy's $50,000 transfer cleared, and Lim was ecstatic. "You're a star, Arjun," he said, tossing me an extra rice portion. I felt sick, picturing Dorothy's empty bank account, her roses untended. I was no star, I was a thief. And the line between victim and villain was gone. As I typed another lie, Priya slipped me a note. "Tomorrow. Dawn." My pulse raced. Escape was close, but so was disaster. I thought of Dorothy, trusting James, and my family, trusting me. I couldn't save her, but maybe I could save myself and warn the world about DragonNet before it swallowed more lives. This plan's heating up. Stay with me to see if we escape. Like, subscribe, and comment. Ever had to risk it all? Your stories fuel this fight. The Dawn escape plan was all I had, a fragile thread of hope in the suffocating grip of DragonNet's compound. Priya's note, tomorrow. Dawn burned in my mind as I sat at my desk, the fluorescent lights bleaching my resolve. Dorothy's $50,000 was gone, her trust in James, a wound I couldn't heal. Each message I sent her now, "You're doing great." Dorothy, "Let's invest more," was a lie that carved deeper into my soul. Lim hovered, his baton tapping his thigh, his eyes daring me to falter. I typed, my hands steady but my heart racing, knowing tomorrow could free me or break me. The compound was a fortress, but Priya, Carlo, and I saw cracks. Priya had watched the delivery truck driver, a wiry man who smoked during his weekly drop-offs, his eyes lingering on the guard's cash. "He's our way out," she whispered in the dorm, her voice barely audible over the snores of others. Carlo, still skeptical, mapped the guard shifts, noting a gap at 5 a.m. When the night crew slacked off, I added my piece, the rusty side gate, less watched at dawn. Our plan was simple but reckless. Distract a guard, slip through the gate, bribe the driver with Priya's hidden $200. Failure meant the basement, or worse. Daylight was torture. I worked my quota, messaging Dorothy and my other targets. The AI scripts, sickeningly perfect. "Margaret, you're my dream come true." I wrote to the Florida teacher, her replies full of hope. I hated myself, picturing her savings draining into DragonNet's crypto wallets. Lim praised my numbers, oblivious to my plotting. "Keep this up, Arjun, and you'll eat well," he said, tossing me a soda. I forced a smile, my mind on the gate, the truck, the jungle beyond. Hyderabad felt a world away. My family's struggles, a distant ache I couldn't soothe. Priya and I refined the plan during a rare lunch break, huddling over watery soup. "I'll distract the guard," she said, her eyes fierce. "Flirt? 'Cause a scene buy you time." I nodded, uneasy. Priya was tough, but the guards were brutal. Carlo would signal when the gate was clear, while I'd approach the driver. We'd rehearsed our moves, but doubt gnawed me. What if the driver refused? What if the guards caught us? I thought of my sister Priya, her school books gathering dust, my parents' loan piling up. I had to try. For them. That night, I took a bigger risk. Lim was distracted, yelling at a new recruit, so I searched my burner phone's app for weaknesses. The AI platform was locked tight, but I found a glitch, a draft folder that saved unsent messages. I typed a warning to Dorothy. "This is a scam. Don't send more money." I didn't send it, fearing Lim's wrath, but saved it, hoping to find a way later. The act felt like defiance, a spark of the old Arjun who dreamed of coding for good. Not evil. Carlo caught me, his voice a hiss. You're crazy. They'll see that. I shrugged, desperate. If we escape, I'll warn her somehow. He shook his head but didn't snitch. His scar, a reminder of his own rebellion, told me he understood. We lay in the dark, the dorm's heat stifling, and I memorized our plan again. Priya distracts. Carlo signals. I bribe. The driver's face pockmarked. Greedy haunted me. Would $200 be enough? I pictured my mother's prayers, my sister's smile, and clung to them like armor. Morning came too fast. Dorothy's latest message hit like a punch, James. I'm selling my car for $20,000 to invest. You're changing my life. I froze, her trust a weight crushing me. Lim leaned over. Push her now, Arjun. Big money. I typed. That's amazing. Dorothy. Let's do it. My fingers trembling. Her confirmation came, money sent. Another $20,000 gone. I wanted to vomit, but the clock showed 4:30, half an hour to dawn. Priya caught my eye across the room. Her nod firm. Carlo's jaw was set. The plan was live. As I shut my phone, Lim's voice cut through. Arjun, you're quiet today. Something up. His eyes narrowed, suspicion sharp. I forced a laugh. Just tired. Boss. He stared, then turned away. My pulse pounded. The gate, the truck, freedom, they were so close. But so was disaster. I thought of Dorothy's roses, my family's hopes, and steeled myself. This was my shot to break free from Dragonet's grip, to reclaim the Arjun I'd lost. We're at the edge now. Will we make it? Like, subscribe, and comment. Ever planned a risky escape? Your stories keep this alive. The compound's air was thick with tension as dawn crept closer, the fluorescent lights dimming for the first time in weeks. My heart thumped like a drum. Priya's nod across the room, my only anchor. The plan distract. Signal. Bribe was a heartbeat away from reality. Dorothy's latest $20,000 loss burned in my chest. Her trust in James, a ghost haunting my every move. I was Arjun ready, not James, and I'd rather die than let Dragonet own me any longer. The rusty gate, the delivery truck, the jungle beyond, they were my shot at redemption. But the guards' batons and Lim's cold eyes were never far. At 4:50, Priya moved. She sauntered towards the main guard post, her voice loud, teasing, drawing eyes. Hey, big guy, got a cigarette, she asked, leaning close to a guard with a scarred face. He smirked, distracted, as two others joined him, laughing. My pulse raced. Her distraction was working. Carlo, near the side gate, gave a subtle wave. The path was clear. I slipped from my desk, my burner phone hidden in my pocket, and crept toward the gate. The compound's hum masking my steps. The rusty lock gleamed faintly, just as I'd remembered. Outside, the delivery truck idled, its driver leaning against the hood, smoking. I clutched Priya's $200, my hands sweaty. This was it. I approached, keeping low, and whispered, "Take us out. Cash now." The driver's pockmarked face turned, his eyes narrowing. 500, he hissed. My stomach dropped. We didn't have it. 200, please, I begged, shoving the bills at him. He hesitated, glancing at the gate, then nodded. Get in fast. I signaled to Carlo, who was inching closer, but Priya was still at the post, her laughter strained. We needed her. Then it unraveled. A shout cut through the air, Lim's voice. Where's Arjun? I froze. Halfway to the truck, Priya's eyes met mine, wide with panic. She pushed the guard, a desperate move, and bolted toward us. The guard roared, drawing his baton, and the others snapped to attention. Carlo grabbed my arm. Run! We sprinted for the gate. Priya behind us, but the lock was stuck, the rust jamming it. I yanked, my hands slipping, as boots pounded closer. The driver cursed, peeling out, leaving us in the dust. My heart sank. Our bribe, our chance, gone. Guards swarmed, their batons raised. Priya reached us, gasping, but a guard tackled her, her scream piercing the dawn. I lunged to help, but another guard slammed me to the ground, my face hitting dirt. Carlo fought, landing a punch, but he was overpowered, his scar reopening under a fist. Lim loomed over me, his face twisted. "You thought you could run." He kicked my ribs, pain exploding, and dragged me inside. Priya and Carlo were hauled after me, their faces bloodied. The compound's gates clanged shut, our freedom a fading dream. We were thrown into the basement, a damp cell reeking of mold. The door slammed, plunging us into darkness. Priya's breaths were ragged, Carlo's curses muffled. My ribs throbbed, but my guilt hurt worse. I'd led them into this, my plan a failure. "I'm sorry," I whispered. Priya's voice was fierce. "Even now, we tried." "Arjun, that's something," Carlo grunted, less forgiving. "They'll kill us now." I couldn't argue. The basement was Dragonet's punishment, a place where hope died. I thought of Dorothy, her savings gone, and my family, waiting for a call that had never come. Hours later, Lim appeared, his baton gleaming. "You cost me time," he said, his voice low. "Mr. Chen's not happy." He yanked me up, shoving me to a room with a single chair. A laptop showed Dorothy's account, $80,000 total. Drained. "You're good at this, Arjun," Lim said. "Work, or your friends stay here." I saw Priya's bruise, Carlo's blood, and nodded, hating myself. Back at my desk, I typed to Dorothy, "Let's invest again." Her reply was instant, "I'm out of money." James. My heart broke. She was ruined, and I was the weapon. But the escape attempt wasn't for nothing. In the chaos, I'd kept my burner phone, hidden in my shoe. The draft warning to Dorothy was still there. If I could send it, maybe I could save her from more pain. As Lim turned away, I vowed to find a way out of the compound, out of this nightmare. My family, Dorothy, Priya, Carlo, they deserved better. I'd failed today, but I wasn't done fighting Dragonet. This is getting intense. Will I find another way out? Like, subscribe, and comment ever faced a moment where it all went wrong. Your stories keep me going. The basement's darkness clung to me, even after they dragged me back to my desk. My ribs ached from Lim's kick, a dull pulse matching the compound's relentless hum. Priya and Carlo were still below, their faces bruised. Defiant burned into my mind. Dragonet had crushed our escape, but I'd kept the burner phone, hidden in my shoe. Its draft warning to Dorothy, my last shred of rebellion. I was Arjun ready, not James, and I'd find a way to fight back, for my friends, for Dorothy, for the family I'd left drowning in debt in Hyderabad. But the clock was ticking, and Lim's eyes were sharper than ever. The compound felt tighter, guards doubling at every exit after our stunt. Lim watched me like a predator, his baton always close. No more games. "Arjun," he said, tossing me a new script. Dorothy was tapped out, her $80,000 gone. So I was assigned a new target. Harold, a 70-year-old retiree in California, fond of golf and his late wife's memory. The AI script was cruelly precise. "Hi, Harold. I'm Mark, a widower who loves the fairway. Life's better with you in it." I typed, my stomach churning, each word a betrayal of the Arjun who'd dreamed of coding for good. Priya and Carlo were released that night, their faces pale, eyes hollow. Priya whispered as we passed in the dorm, "We're not done." Carlo just glared, his trust in me broken. I couldn't blame him. Our plan had cost them pain, maybe worse. But Priya's words lit a spark. The phone in my shoe was a weapon. If I could use it, the draft to Dorothy. This is a scam. Don't send more money was still there, unsent. A risk that could save her or doom me. I needed a way to bypass the app's block, and fast. Daylight brought a chance. A new recruit? A nervous kid from Mumbai named Vikram was assigned to my row. He was a coder, like me, his eyes darting as Lim barked orders. During a rare break, I slipped him a note. No phone hacks. He nodded, barely, and later whispered, I can try. What's the app I described? The burner scam platform. Its locked interface. Vikram's eyes lit up. It's a custom job, but there's always a back door. My heart raced. A back door could let me send Dorothy's warning, maybe even expose DragonNet. We worked in secret. Vikram analyzing the phone when Lim was distracted. He found a glitch in the app's encryption, a flaw that could let unsent drafts bypass the block. It's risky, he warned. If they trace it, we're dead. I thought of Priya's bruise, Carlo's scar, Dorothy's roses. Do it, I said. That night, I slipped the phone from my shoe, my hands trembling. Vikram guided me, his voice low, rooted through a proxy. Quick. I sent Dorothy's warning, my pulse pounding, praying it reached her before Lim noticed. The next morning, Lim was furious, yelling about a system breach. My stomach dropped. Had they traced me? But he blamed a server glitch, not me. I exhaled, barely. Dorothy's reply came hours later. Who are you? I'm calling the police. Relief flooded me. She was safe, or safer. I'd saved one person, a small victory against DragonNet's machine. But Lim's suspicion grew, his eyes locking on me during shifts. You're too quiet. Arjun, he said, his baton tapping. I forced a smile, my mind racing for the next move. Priya and Carlo rallied, their anger outweighing their fear. We try again, Priya whispered in the dorm, but smarter. Carlo grunted. No trucks. We need intel. I agreed. Vikram's coding skills gave us an edge. He'd found a dark web forum where DragonNet operatives chatted, careless with details. They mention a boss, Mr. Chen, in Phnom Penh. Vikram said, if we leak his location, Interpol might move. My heart leapt. Exposing Chen could dismantle DragonNet, free us all. But it meant hacking deeper, risking everything. I thought of Hyderabad, my sister's laughter, my mother's prayers, my father's tired hands. They were why I'd come here, why I'd fallen for the fake job ad. Now, they were why I'd fight. I drafted a plan with Priya, Carlo, and Vikram. Hack the forum, leak Chen's details anonymously, and pray for a raid. It was a long shot, but so was our last escape. As I typed another lie to Harold, my phone hidden, I felt a shift. I wasn't just surviving, I was fighting for Dorothy, for my friends, for the Arjun I'd lost in this Cambodian nightmare. This fight's getting real. Will our hack work? Like, subscribe, and comment. Ever found hope in a dark moment? Your stories keep us alive. The compound's walls seem to close in, each clack of keyboards a reminder of my cage. My ribs still ached from the failed escape. But the burner phone, hidden in my shoe, was my lifeline. Sending Dorothy's warning had been a small win, but DragonNet's grip tightened. Lim's suspicion was a blade at my throat, his eyes scanning me during every shift. I was Arjun ready, trapped in a Cambodian scam factory, but with Priya, Carlo, and Vikram. I'd found a new plan: hack DragonNet's dark web forum, expose their boss, Mr. Chen, and pray Interpol would storm this hell. It was a desperate gamble, and failure meant more than a basement cell. It meant losing myself for good. Vikram was our edge, his coding skills sharper than mine. In stolen moments, he probed the forum's weak spots, whispering updates in the dorm. Chen's in Phnom Penh, he said, showing a post with a careless mention of a penthouse. If we leak this, it could trigger a raid. Priya's eyes gleamed. We do it anonymously. No traces. Carlo, still bruised, nodded. But we need an out fast. I agreed. The forum hack was our weapon, but we'd need to escape the fallout. My mind flashed to Hyderabad, my sister Priya's smile, my parents' debt piling up. They deserved an Arjun who fought, not one who scammed. Daylight was a grind. I worked my quota, messaging Harold, the California retiree, with AI lies. You're my second chance, Harold. Crypto's the future. His replies stories of golf. His late wife tore at me. He'd sent $15,000 already, and Lim wanted more. Push him, Arjun. He barked, his baton close. I typed, my hands heavy, but my mind was on the hack. Vikram had cracked the forum's login, posing as a DragonNet grunt. I'm in, he whispered during a break. We can post Chen's location tonight. My pulse raced. Exposure was close, but so was danger. Lim's paranoia grew, his checks random. He searched my desk, missing the phone in my shoe by inches. You're hiding something, he said, his breath hot. I shrugged, heart pounding. Just working, boss. He let it go, but I knew time was short. Priya noticed, slipping me a note, tonight. Be ready. Our plan was set. Vikram would leak Chen's penthouse details to an Interpol tip line via the forum, using a proxy to hide us. Priya and Carla would watch the guards, signaling if we were caught. I'd keep Lim distracted, playing the obedient scammer. Night fell, the compound's hum, a tense backdrop. Vikram worked in the dorm, his face lit by a smuggled tablet. It's done, he said. Posting the leak, Mr. Chen, DragonNet boss, penthouse at Riverside Towers, Phnom Penh. He routed it through proxies, but my stomach churned. DragonNet wasn't stupid, they'd trace it eventually. Priya whispered. We need an escape plan now. Carlos scouted a new route, a drainage pipe near the back fence, unguarded but tight. It's our only shot, he said. I nodded, picturing freedom, my family's faces driving me. Morning brought chaos. Lim stormed in, yelling about a leak. My blood froze. Had they traced us? He didn't name me, but his eyes lingered. Someone's talking, he growled, slamming a fist on my desk. I typed to Harold, let's invest more. My hands shaking. His $30,000 transfer cleared. Another wound on my conscience, but ex-posts, smuggled via Vikram's tablet, showed our leak spreading. Interpol eyes, Cambodian syndicate boss. My heart leapt. Our gamble was working. Pressure mounting on Chen. Priya rallied us in the dorm. The raid's coming, she said. We move when it hits. Carlo mapped the pipe's exit, leading to a riverbank. If we make it, we run for the Indian embassy, he said. I clung to the thought of Hyderabad, my mother's biryani, my sister's laugh, but Lim's next move crushed my hope. Arjun, you're with me, he said, pulling me to a room with a camera. Mr. Chen wants to see you. My stomach dropped. The boss, the ghost behind DragonNet, knew my name. The camera blinked on. A shadowy figure on screen. Chen, his voice cold. You're valuable. Arjun. But cross me, and your family pays. He knew about Hyderabad. My parents. Priya. My defiance wavered, fear choking me. As I returned to my desk, Priya's eyes met mine, fierce. We're close, she mouthed. The phone in my shoe. Vikram's hack. The pipe, they were our last stand. I typed to Harold, my heart heavy. But my resolve hardened. DragonNet had taken too much. I'd expose them, escape, and warn the world, even if it cost me everything. This is life or death. Will we outsmart DragonNet? Like, subscribe, and comment ever faced a moment where you had to fight your stories. Fuel us. The compound's air was electric. Every keyboard clack a countdown to chaos. Mr. Chen's threat, "Cross me and your family pays," echoed in my skull. His shadowed face on that camera, a nightmare I couldn't shake. I was Arjun Reddy, a Hyderabad dreamer turned scammer. But the burner phone in my shoe and Vikram's hack gave me a chance to fight back. DragonNet's walls were closing in, but Priya, Carlo, and I had a plan: ride the Interpol raid, slip through the drainage pipe and run for freedom. My family's hopes, Dorothy's trust, Harold's savings, they weighed on me, driving me to end this Cambodian nightmare. Dawn broke with a rumor Interpol was circling Phnom Penh, our leak about Chen's penthouse sparking movement. X-posts, smuggled via Vikram's tablet, buzzed with news: Cambodian cybercrime raid imminent. My heart raced. Our hack had worked, but Lim's paranoia was a minefield. He prowled the compound, barking orders, his baton twitching. "Work faster," he snapped at me, his eyes boring into mine. I typed to Harold, "You're my future. Let's invest big." My hands steady despite the fear. His 50,000 was gone, another scar on my soul. But I had to play the part until the raid hit. Priya caught my eye. Her nod subtle. "Tonight," she mouthed. Carlos scouted the pipe again, confirming it led to a riverbank. A half-mile sprint to a road. "If we make it, we're free," he whispered, his scar stark under the lights. Vikram, our coder, was ready to leak more DragonNet's server IPs, stolen from the forum to keep Interpol's heat on. But Chen's warning haunted me. He knew my family, my address in Hyderabad. I pictured my sister Priya's school, my parents' flat, vulnerable. I pushed the fear down, focusing on the pipe, the raid, the chance to be Arjun again. Midday. The compound erupted. Sirens wailed outside. Boots pounding beyond the gates. Lim froze, then roared. "Keep working," but the guards scrambled, some grabbing guns, others fleeing. Vikram whispered, "It's the raid." My pulse surged. Interpol was here. Priya signaled, "Now." We moved, slipping from our desks as chaos spread. Guards shouted, distracted by the sirens, and we darted to the back fence. The drainage pipe, a narrow concrete tunnel, gaped like a promise. Carlo went first, his frame barely fitting. Then Priya. I followed, the phone in my shoe, my heart in my throat. The pipe was tight, reeking of rot, water soaking my knees. We crawled, Carlo's grunts ahead, Priya's breaths behind. Gunshots echoed above, Interpol breaching the compound. My ribs ached, memories of Lim's kick flaring. But I pushed on, picturing my mother's smile, my sister's laugh. The pipe ended at a muddy riverbank, the jungle dark and free. We scrambled out, gasping, but shouts followed. Guards, chasing us. "Run!" Carlo hissed. We sprinted, branches clawing my face. The road, our only hope. A jeep roared up, not Interpol DragonNet's men, their guns glinting. My stomach dropped. Priya tripped, and I yanked her up, Carlo shoving us forward. "Embassy!" he gasped. The road appeared, a truck idling, a miracle. We piled in, the driver startled but speeding off as we begged for help. Bullets pinged the metal, but we were out. Phnom Penh's lights fading. At the Indian embassy, we collapsed, safe but broken. I told them everything DragonNet. Chen, the scams. They listened, promising action. But Chen had vanished. A ghost again. Days later, I was back in Hyderabad. My family's arms around me. The compound was shut. 60 workers freed. But DragonNet's bosses slipped away. Their crypto millions untouchable. Dorothy and Harold's losses haunted me, I'd warned her. But too late for him. I posted on X. Anonymously, pig butchering scams trap thousands. Check job offers. Protect your heart. The replies poured in: victims, survivors, gratitude. I cried, my guilt easing, my family's pride a balm. My sister Priya hugged me. "You came back, Anna." I had, but not whole. The burner phone was gone, confiscated by Interpol. but its draft had saved Dorothy from more pain. I vowed to rebuild code for good, help my family, warn others. DragonNet was wounded, but scams would rise again. I'd be ready, sharing my story to save others from my nightmare. As I sat with my mother, her biryani warm in my hands, I felt Arjun return, scarred but unbroken. Thanks for staying with my fight. Like, subscribe, and comment. How do you spot a scam? Share to save lives. Stay safe out there. This is the final part. If you'd like an epilogue or a new story, let me know.